Let us take a trip to the past. Remember when you were young, when your dad announced that, hey, let's go for a picnic at the beach. Remember those days? And the whole family got excited, right? And your mom was preparing all the sandwiches, curry puff, and fried rice, and your dad would be stuffing everything in the car. And the whole family would be singing over the radio all the way to the beach. Remember those days? And so you get to the beach, it was packed, it was crowded, not a single spot, but your dad always found the perfect spot, as always. You put everything on the ground and you ran towards the open sea. Remember those good old days? Right. Now just picture this. Same situation. You're going to the beach. As you reach the beach, it was all empty, deserted, not a single soul. Perhaps a few birds are flying across the sky, praying. You thought to yourself again, hey, maybe this is my lucky day. I can find the perfect spot just like that. You dropped everything on the ground and you ran towards the beach. And you got a shock of your life. The beach is polluted. It is filled with trash. You can even see all slick washing to the shore. There are even dead fish lying on the ground. Plastic waste are almost everywhere. Then you thought to yourself again, hey, why waste all those food you have in the car, right? So off you go to the nearest river that you've been countless of times. Countless of times. You went to the riverbank and the shock remains. It is polluted. It is unbearable. Even you can see the water color is so slimy. There are even an old truck that been dumped in the river. Even a refrigerator now. And plastic are almost everywhere. Now, hold on to those thoughts. We'll be coming back to that later. Let me ask this question. When we get sick, we fall ill, we got a fever, we got runny nose, we got a headache, what will be the first thing that you'll be reaching out for? Panadol, correct? That's paracetamol, right? In other parts of the world, they might be calling it Tylenol or Excedrin, but it's always Panadol. It is almost like an instinct to us, a habit that we learn from our parents, from our grandparents. It becomes part of us. Either consciously or subconsciously, we reach out for Panadol, as always. But Panadol would not cure the underlying condition, right? It will only be providing relief. It buys us time. Now, if the symptom persists, you will immediately go over to the closest medical center or a clinic and get a prescription. That's what we always do. And if the illness prolongs, we would be seeking help, seeing a specialist at a hospital, right? Now, in other words, we act and we find solutions, correct? Now, let us step into our only home that we have, which is planet Earth. What is planet Earth's health? Have you ever thought about it? We read about it. We read in the news, in the media. You can see haze on one end, pollution on the other, extreme temperature on one side, and freezing temperature on the other, right? The weather has changed. There are tornadoes, hurricanes, even earthquakes in Malaysia nowadays. There are even diseases that we never heard of that's emerging. And even viruses that scientists are running all over to the clinic, to the labs to find an antidote. The weather pattern has changed. It is becoming unbearable and unpredictable. There are even snow in places that we never heard of or thought of, right? Now, this is climate change. It's happening and it is real. And a bit of good news. I'm afraid there isn't any. If business is as usual as we are currently observing now, and the mass population are in denial that climate change do not exist, and the naysayers are lobbying the government that climate change will be the least agenda for any government to take action upon, we are doomed. We are doomed from the start. And what action we need to do now? We are the population. We have to act and find ways to eradicate this. Even though the government says this is fine, we are still years and years before we might reach that particular point on where there'll be heat wave throughout the whole year. Now, whenever we feel sick, a patient will go to the hospital and they'll be diagnosed by the medical doctors, and usually they'll be looking for a few vital signs, right? What are the vital signs that they'll usually look for? Number one, it'll be temperature. Number two, it'll be blood pressure. Then they look for the immune system and the respiration. Now let's take a look on what is Earth temperature at the moment. Last year, it was recorded as the hottest year ever in the history of mankind. Remember the fires in California that spread like wildfire? Remember the heat waves in Europe that have a lot of casualties, a lot of fatality cases, right? Now, when the temperature rises, what impact does it do? Obviously, the North and South Pole ice will melt. When it melts, it gets into the ocean, there'll be sea level rise. And what impact does it do in this part of the earth? Imagine there's rain in a mountain or a hill, and water will be flowing in the rivers, and obviously from the river, the water will be gushing out to the open sea. Right? But how can you do so when it's blocked? It will backflow into land. And that's where you have floods in Kelantan, in Johor, in Pahang, in Sabah. But it's not just happening here. It is happening all over the world. They have floods recorded in Europe, in America, in South America, in Australia even. Now, when the temperature rises, we have to take action. Now, let's take a look on the second vital sign, which is the blood pressure. Imagine that the greenhouse gas emission led by carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and methane gases. Carbon dioxide will be coming from the fumes, the smoke coming from transportation industry or coal-fired power plants. The level will be so high that is becoming unbearable. According to the Berkeley report, last year alone, it has increased 30% since the Beatles era in the 60s. 30%. And just this year alone, it has increased another notch to 1%. That is 31%. And we are just barely into the month of October. What about the rest of the months until the end of the year, right? What about the next year? What about 5 years from now? Would it be 100%? Or will it be 1,000% that we couldn't barely go out at all? We need oxygen to supply us to breathe outside, outdoors. It is happening, and it's alarming. Now, what about the third vital signs? That is the immune system. Think that biodiversity is the antibody. What is biodiversity? It is the ecosystem that provides stability, balance to Mother Earth. It provides food, it provides water, it provides health system, it provides oxygen. Now, what if there is biodiversity loss? It's happening now. As we are speaking now, millions of species are extinct. Either they migrate into another parts of the world. Why? Because the temperature had rises. They couldn't find food. When they reach the other part of the world, part of Earth, they still couldn't find food because there are different sort of food that they used to. That's happening now. And for every 6 seconds, a size of a football field of a primary rainforest are forever gone. And so does the wildlife. This is happening. This is reality. This is climate change. Now, what is the fourth vital signs? That is the respiration. Where do we get our oxygen from? We get it from plants, from forests, from ocean, right? But it is now either eroded, depleted, or polluted. So how can we breathe? The lung will be providing oxygen to the whole body. When the lungs struggle, the whole body fails. And this is what's happening. It is alarming, it is an emergency. If this is a medical case, if a patient that comes to a hospital to check the condition, the doctors and the nurses would immediately rush the patient to the ICU. And this is the health of planet Earth. So what can we do with it? Because it is a reality, and what is happening now is so alarming that we need to put in some action. I'm not here to share a billion-dollar cure for the planet, but I'm here to share the Panadol, the short-term relief that buys us time. Just like Panadol that heals, it buys us time. I'm going to share a few quick wins. That we could implement, we could practice at home. Because small steps would lead to a bigger transformative program, right? At home, what do you have? You have air conditioning at home, I assume. Most of us do. Please set it at 26 degrees Celsius. In the office, yes, it is at 23 degrees because you have jackets on. But at home, with your t-shirts, you just need 26 degrees to be set. It is good enough. And do clean your AC filters all the time because it saves energy and it saves your wallet too. Now, and when the aircon is on, do shut the doors and the windows. What about the kitchen? Set your refrigerator at 18 degrees Celsius. That is most important. And as well as, and go down as 4 degrees Celsius. And set your freezers at minus 4 degrees Celsius. It helps. It still will freeze whatever food items that you have in. If you do take showers, only spend less than 5 minutes. Do not soak yourself in the bathtub and fill yourself with water. We need to save water. Now, what about if you go for, you wash your clothes, you go to the laundromat. I always have a tendency when I go to the laundromat, I'll press hot water. I guess that's what we always do, right? Cold water will do the same effect. It will still do justice to the laundry. And please, after you complete your washing, take it out and bring it back home and air dry them. It works the same. Malaysia is a tropical climate. It rains occasionally, but then there's always sunshine. So it just dry them, air dry, it works the same. Now, these practices will help. Say you go for a trip. You drive, and I would like to promote this, even though this is still a far-fetched thing, it's quite expensive, but then again, we need to work towards it. Buy an EV. Get a Tesla. Because it helps. It helps. If not, get a hydrogen fuel cell. And if you need to go to work or to school, please take the public transportation or carpool. It will help to save gases. It will help to save fuel and to save your wallet too, right? Now, a bit of trivia. I bet every one of us use the AI chat, right? Chat GPT, WhatsApp, right? If you just type the word hello, it will consume 10 minutes of a 9-watt LED. 10 minutes. Just imagine this. Every second, millions around the world will be typing the word hello just to create a friend or an AI chat, right? That's millions and millions of coal-fired power plants churning out gas emission. And it's depleting the whole ozone layer. And this is happening. Another trivia is, anybody love burgers here? I do. When I was a student, that was my staple food. We love burgers so much that perhaps we'll be eating it almost every day, right? Now, how much would a single patty of burger consume water? Anyone? That's 2,000 liters. Wow, 2,000 liters. How is it possible? From the day that you breed the cattle, you water the napier, the cow grass to feed those cattle. The slaughterhouse, it goes to processing of the burgers, goes right up to your favorite fast food joint. It'll take 2,000 liters of water. So my advice is, go slow on those burgers. You can have them occasionally. Now, the weather has changed, and if this is a medical term, I guess you would call it code blue for planet Earth. So all those things that you do, those are just baby steps. And above all, remember, say no to single-use plastic. Those plastic that you use, you wrap your fruit stuff, you dump it in the garbage can, and it goes to the garbage truck, and eventually it goes to the landfill. Some would end up in the landfill, but most of it end up in the drain. From the drain, it gets to the river. From the river, it gets to the ocean. And turtles, they could not identify either it is jellyfish or it is just plastic that floats around. And most of the plastic will disintegrate and they will become microplastic. And when we consume those fish, we are having that microplastic in our body as well. If we have a huge X-ray here and zoom and scan all of us, I bet we are carrying tons of microplastic in us, right? So this is something that we need to do. But the best quick wins in order for us to eradicate climate change is awareness. Share this with your friends. Whatever quick wins that I listed on are not exhaustive. They are much more than what you could find. Saving of water, saving of energy. And what you could do is to share this with your friends, with your neighbors, with your community. We got to spread it around. Consider us as the immune cell of the body. What does immune cell do? Immune cell have to become strong, become resilient, be vocal. So you need to speak out. Speak out to your parliamentarian, to your ministers, to your government, that climate change is real. It is here to stay if we do not provide the change, if we do not combat climate change, if we do not mitigate climate change. Now, before I end, I would like always to share this phrase from the great legendary Bob Dylan. Anybody heard of them? No? Perhaps Bob Dylan is Taylor Swift of yesteryears. Now, this is the quote. You better start swimming or you sink like a stone. For times, they are a-changing. This is the time now. We are living in the era where climate change is real. We have to mitigate. And so let's do the healing process. Thank you so much.